Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm Jaime again. This is Unexplained Archives, and that's
Oh,
Jen.
and I'm Jen Getner. Good to see everybody
Yeah.
again. Thanks for coming
Yes.
back. Episode 2.
It's exciting. We're
It is
doing this.
exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's happening.
Awesome. So how was your week? Anything exciting?
Yeah, so I got braces.
Oh, yeah. I remember
I
you talking
did.
about that. I
Yeah.
can't tell. That's
I
awesome.
got
I can't
bottom.
tell it all.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I got so right now I just have the bottom ones on, and then
okay.
I'm getting an Invisalign for the top.
Okay.
Which is good because I think if I had both in, I don't know if this podcast would work. I just
Uh,
worry that I would sound like Daffy Duck the whole time. So I think
that
I can
might be
like top it
fun.
out. And so I won't sound as weird, but it's definitely different. I'm
Yeah.
still getting used to it. I can't really eat like solid foods right now. Yeah,
Oh.
it's been a few days. It's the best weight loss I've
Oh.
ever been on.
Was it like soup and yogurt and
Yeah.
soft foods? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing protein shakes and smoothies and
Okay.
yeah, super soft
Yeah.
foods. I lost 4 pounds in the last few
Wow.
days. I know. I don't know if this is like the best way to do it or not, but I'm
Is-
just like chewing just doesn't feel right. It just is. I'm not there yet. So, yeah. So we're going with it, but
Hey. Well,
yeah.
you sound great, and I can't
Thank
even tell at all. So
good. That's the
that's
that's the
great.
goal. That's the goal. Yeah. I
Awesome.
mean, it's I don't know. I just lately I've been doing just different things to like,
Yeah.
self-care stuff. The kids are calling it a glow up. It's not called a midlife crisis anymore.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. So I'm just little easy tweaks that are happening that I just would feel more confident with. And so, yeah, I never had braces before. This is my first time.
I
First
had
time
a
ever.
retainer one time because I had a
Okay.
crossbite. And so
Oh,
one
yikes.
tooth was in front of the one on the bottom and one was behind it. And so I
Yeah.
had to wear this retainer thing, but it was like a mold. It looked like a wad of gum.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah. And so, gradually my tooth went in front of
Okay.
my bottom teeth. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was a bit of a snaggle tooth when I was in like second grade.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I
It was
hate
fun.
complaining. I really hate complaining about it because like 8-year-olds get braces and here I am like, oh, I'm in pain. Like, these little kids, young
I
kids are
know.
getting them all the time.
I
And
know. Kids are so resilient when
they
it comes to
are
that.
like,
Like, I
it's not
skin my knee now, and I'm like, I'm staying in bed all day.
right.
When you're a kid as a kid, and your knee as a kid, and you just keep running, blood
Right.
running down your leg, and you're
Yeah.
on the monkey
No big
bars,
deal. Yeah, no big deal. I
Yeah.
literally had there it was an 8-year-old boy in the chair next to me when they were doing the molds and everything, and he was just cool as a cucumber. No, nothing. And so, but when I wasn't like loud or anything, but like internally, I was like,
Yeah.
I want this to be over. I hate this. Like, what have I done? But
Yeah. How
it's
long did
worth
the
it.
whole process take, like, for them to actually do
There's
it?
they're saying a year and a half.
Okay.
I don't even get the tops for like they don't even want to see me for like 10 more weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So,
they said the
okay.
top is going to go a lot quicker than the bottom.
Okay.
I kind of went in to get my top fixed. And when they did x-rays, they were like, well, the bottom ones are beginning to overcrowd a little bit. So
Wow.
oddly enough, like that's what I'm doing first. And then the others shouldn't take too long. I don't know. I came home. I told my daughter, Gabby, 24 years old, she just got her braces off a few months ago.
Okay.
And when I told her a year and a half, she gave me this look like, and I was like, What? And she said, they told me 1.5 years too.
Oh,
It was like 2 years, but
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
yeah,
I'm hoping it's not long.
that's
It's
good.
just a little quick correct.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good deal.
Yeah.
Well,
So how about you?
whew, man, it's been a series of
Unfortunate
weird,
events?
unfortunate events. So I'm just gonna say, I think I bought a cursed coat from a thrift store.
Okay.
It's it's like a long black coat, and I love it. It's kind of got this like kind of an older like fashion feel to it, and it's got
Okay.
the belt, and it's kind of like almost trench coaty, you know.
Yep.
And I was
Yep.
just like, oh, this is so cute. And it was really, really cold when I bought it, and I just didn't have a winter coat. So
Yeah.
anyway, the very first time I wore it, strange things started happening. Well, the first thing that happened was I was out on the town. I had my wallet 1 minute. The next minute, it was just gone. Like literally, I saw it. Then I walked out the door and it was gone. I went right back in. It was not on the table. It was not in the bathroom. It was nowhere. It just disappeared.
Okay.
So I lost my wallet.
Yep.
Then I lost my one of my good luck. I have these earrings that I got from Peru that are supposed to be good luck. They're hummingbird earrings.
Mm-hmm.
I randomly, like just like moved my hand, and it fell out and fell down a hole. It's like the only hole in the countertop. It's like this big. It's
Oh my gosh.
hole. And then it went down in it, and I couldn't get to it.
Oh,
and so
no.
I'm like, that was my good luck earring. So I lost my wallet.
Is it still in
lost
there?
My earring.
Your earring is still in there?
Yeah. So maybe the bathroom's good luck. So yeah.
Yeah, now you've got good luck all over the bathroom.
Yeah. So, and then I had this really cool stone that it was handmade in Hot Springs, Arkansas, that my mom got me for my birthday, and it's supposed to be a protection and like good luck. Vanished. I keep it in the same place all the time.
Yeah.
It's just gone. So I blame the coat. Like all these things are happening. then my car's driving fine. No alerts, nothing. Suddenly it just stops running. Like it will not run. It won't go into gear. And there was and I'm telling you, my car gives me like any little thing that goes wrong with it. There's a
light for it, right?
Yes, everything. And it's like constantly, even if the windshield wiper fluid is low, it's like constantly bugging me.
You get an alert.
Yeah, I get an alert. And it just stopped. Okay. All this stuff happened since I got the coat. So I think that coat is cursed.
I think you have a cursed coat.
But it was my transmission too.
It was the transmission.
Okay. The transmission.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it seems like a blinker or something would come on to warn you.
Yeah, exactly.
And your car is not like an old car.
No, it's a 2023. Yeah.
So, I mean, that is so crazy. It's a 2023 and the transmission just goes.
And no warning. It was driving perfectly up to that point.
Wow.
So I blame the coat. I think my coat is cursed.
Yeah, I think it is for sure.
I feel like there were more things. Electrical problems in the house too.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you plug something in and all the outlets stop working.
Oh my gosh.
It's just been one thing. Ever since I got that coat, it's been one thing after another. So
oh my goodness. So
I'm gonna claim cursed coat.
I would claim cursed coat for sure. What are you gonna do with the coat now?
I don't know. Okay. I like it. I don't know. We're gonna keep an eye on it and see if my luck changes or not.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do some sage over it, or
Yeah, try that. Like we could put some crystals on it or something.
Yeah.
We could bedazzle it with crystals if we need to.
We can.
Yeah,
I actually have some crystals. I could put them in the pockets and see.
There you go. Yeah.
Reverses anything.
Right. Just have it in there.
Yeah. So. Anyway, hey, I guess, do you want to jump in to our next topic?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'm so excited. Tell us.
Me too.
Tell us what we're learning about this week.
All right, we're talking about the mystery of the Dover Lights.
Okay.
And this is actually from my home state. It's in Dover, near Dover, Arkansas. It's in the
Okay.
Ozark National Forest.
Yes.
It's a very beautiful area, very
I can
remote.
imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've always
very
wanted to
remote.
visit out there. It just seems absolutely gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And so the Dover Lights, it's basically there's these mysterious orbs of light that appear at this place. Well, they call it Dover Lights because
Okay.
of this. I mean, I'm sure it's called something else, but it's in the Ozark National Forest.
Okay.
It's not quite in the town of Dover because it's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, forest. That's it.
Yeah.
Forest, big, overlooking a big, beautiful valley. It's just gorgeous.
Okay.
But there's been, ever since I was a little kid,
Mhm.
I've heard of the Dover Lights.
Okay.
And it's basically, there's been reports dating way back in history
Okay.
of orbs that they're like glowing balls of light. So they're often described as ghostly, floating, or moving lights in the night. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Sometimes they change colors, but a
That's
lot
what
of
I was
times,
gonna ask. Like,
yeah.
are they any particular color, or they're ever changing, or?
Most of the time they're white, yellow, or orange, but there have been people that have reported like red and green
Okay.
occasionally.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I have my own experiences too that we'll talk about here in a minute.
Oh,
But
good.
yeah,
All right.
so but a common theory also is that if you shine a bright flashlight, a super bright flashlight, that those lights will respond. So if you're
Interesting.
seeing nothing, if you shine a light out there into the valley, and I
Okay.
mean it is pitch black,
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
that these lights will appear.
Like they
Okay,
kind of respond to other
within a few
lights.
seconds, so they respond
Oh my
to other
gosh.
light. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get into more of it later. There's all kinds of theories,
Yes, I'm sure.
of what it, scientifically.
Yep. What this phenomenon is.
Phenomenon.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But basically the first reported sightings, they date back to the early settlers and the like Native American stories.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I mean, this is not anything new. This has
Yeah.
been reports
Wow.
over a long period of time in
Okay.
history. Sometimes it's linked to like the area's rugged and isolated geography. So they try to come up with some other things like we'll talk about later. But one of them, which reminds me kind of a throwback to our UFO episode one. One of the theories is swamp gas,
Okay, sure.
always swamp gas.
Blame it on the swamp gas.
Yeah. And so I guess, I mean, there's still a lot of debates. So we'll throw it out there, talk about it, and maybe try to decide if we think it's supernatural or a natural phenomenon or a man-made phenomenon.
Right.
There's all kinds of theories floating around, both supporting the paranormal and also just saying, it's just science,
Okay, yep.
So I don't know, but I have some personal experience with it. I mean, I grew up in Arkansas, like I said, very close to this area, within like a half hour or so from this area. So all my life, I've basically, heard about the Dover Lights, and everybody, has a story from the Dover Lights.
I'm sure.
There's, people that have seen nothing, and there's people that can, pretty much tell you basically the same stories that have been passed on, through the years.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you, it is literally in the middle of nowhere. I hadn't been in years, and most of the time when I went, I would ride with someone else, so I'd never driven myself there. And so I decided I wanted to go check it out. And so I went on Facebook, and I asked for directions in a Dover Lights Facebook group, because there's this big group of people that are all about trying to figure out what these lights are.
Okay, so good to know. So there's an actual Facebook group.
There is
people who have, do they share their experiences?
They share their experiences. Yeah. there's questions. They sometimes
Okay.
will post their own video, documentation
Oh,
of
that's so
it. And
cool. I
yeah,
definitely
so
want to check that out.
yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a
Okay.
Facebook group.
Great.
But I asked for directions, and these are literally the directions I got. I'm going to read
Okay.
them because they're hilarious.
Okay,
So,
good.
Highway 7 at Dover,
Mhm.
past some big X wooden power lines. Road will widen,
Okay.
past Moccasin Gap,
Okay.
turn off. Road will widen more with a passing lane,
Okay.
right lane, and tower with red lights flashing.
Oh my gosh.
Then narrow again to one lane. Okay.
Yep.
That's it. Stops there. But then it says, if you get to the Overlook rest stop, Rotary Inn, then you've gone 14 miles too far. Turn around.
Oh my gosh.
So let me tell you, I found it.
Yeah.
It started coming back to me, once I kind of got close to the area.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, I think it's down this way, but it's really, it's in a very remote area.
Right.
Like it's yeah. So
oh my gosh.
yeah.
I love that you've gone 14 miles too far.
Too far. 14 miles too far. Turn around. And that
Right,
was
I
it.
mean,
And that's where the
that's-
directions ended.
That's pretty far.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a long way to go past the point where you need to be.
Yeah.
14 miles. Okay.
14 miles too far.
Okay, well, good. Well,
Okay.
hey, they were great directions. You made it.
I made it.
Yeah,
I made
you didn't
it.
pass
I didn't
it.
go 14 miles too far, so that's
good.
good.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've been several times, and there were a lot. Most of the time, there was a lot of time in between. Times I would go, like even up to like a few years in between when I would go back. I think the first few times we went with like a group of friends. Like up to 6 friends. We'd pile in the car.
Sure.
Let's go do a spooky thing. Sometimes there was no one else there. And sometimes there were a lot of people there because
I guess
it's a popular, people want to see
right.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like it's a secret. The Dover Lights are no secret. And so, yeah, that would be the thing. I was curious. Like, you could get there and there would just be groups of tourists there waiting.
There's been a few times when there were several cars there.
Wow.
And the way it's set up, there is like a dirt lot when you get to the lookout point, and then there's a rock wall, so you can actually like sit on the wall, but then it drops. It's like a ridge,
Okay.
And I mean, it's a deep valley, and there is nothing there. Okay. It's just forest, and a big cliff that overlooks this scenic valley.
Okay.
There's no power lines. I'm going to tell you, I've gone in the daytime to check it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I want to lay of the land. I want to know.
Oh, yeah.
Because at night it is pitch black. You can't.
Right. You can't see what's in front of you.
Right. So I was like, let's just see what's down there. Because I've heard different theories of what it could be. So I just wanted to see for myself.
Sure.
But there's no power lines. There's no visible water sources. There's no electricity. There is a campground that's like across the valley, but it's like miles away and kind of in a different direction than where you would see the lights down in the valley. Okay.
All right.
So I'm telling you, like, there's nothing. There's no roads. You can't see any roads. There's nothing drivable. It is wilderness.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So this is what I've seen with my own eyes. So yeah. At night I've been like just after dark. I've been in the middle of the night.
Okay.
I've been with just one person. I've been with groups of people. Like I've done this several times.
Tried different methods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's it's just a great experience. It's very creepy. Just the area itself. Yeah. Because it's so dark and secluded that experience itself is very spooky,
That's what would scare me more than anything.
Exactly.
Being in the forest and where there's, no light. Yes.
Yeah. So I've not been with any like fancy equipment, but I did bring some high-powered flashlight. I did bring a high-powered flashlight one time just to test do they respond to light, kind of thing. And there's been times I've seen nothing.
Okay.
There's been times where there was a storm off in the background and it was phenomenal. Like you can see lightning all across the sky, and you know what I mean?
Beautiful.
Like it's
Yeah.
just in general, it's a really great spot to visit.
Oh, I bet.
Even
Yeah.
aside from the paranormal stuff.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So there's been at least 3 times that I've seen the lights that there is no way it could have been anything else.
Okay.
Other than what has been described through history.
Yep.
I've seen a single light.
Okay.
It was more white. It would kind of change to a yellowish orange, but it was more floaty. So I would say it was probably maybe 20 yards in front of me, kind of. So the way it overlooks, like it just drops. It's a ridge and it just drops, and it's just valley and forest, and you know, for like as far as you can see.
Wow.
And so I would say in front of me, maybe 20 yards in front of me.
Gosh.
And it was just there. It was just a ball of light. Just a ball of light. It would change color a little bit, then it would disappear, and it would kind of show up again a little bit closer, but maybe off to the left or right. So it moved, but I wouldn't say it was like a darty light. You know what I mean? It was more of a floaty kind of light.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And there were other people with me.
Yeah. So you've got witnesses. This is not just you seeing this. You've got other people around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't hallucinating or anything. It is a thing. It is a thing. There's been other times when it was more than one light, maybe 2 or 3 lights would show up at a time. And when it was more than one, they were more darty. Like they would they had more movement. And it almost reminded me of the lights that you described in the UFO.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking as you were talking about how the movement.
There was some red and there was some green, and you know there were some other colors mixed in there, but it did have a lot more movement. So,
oh my gosh, okay.
I was really, I mean, I tried. I have probably a million videos that I need to go through, like just inch by inch, you know, and just see if I can actually see it. But it's very, very hard.
Okay.
And through the research that I was doing for this episode, that's why it's still such a mystery of what it could be, because there's very little documented video evidence of these lights because they're so hard to catch.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
you probably have to.
I even did a time lapse, and of course they were hiding during that. I didn't get anything. I got a lot of like lightning bugs and you know and things like that on it.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go back with better equipment.
Sure.
And see, because it's definitely the phone camera does not do it justice.
Yeah.
I know there's several YouTube videos out there of you know, local people coming from far away, you know, to check it out, because it's a pretty well-known phenomenon.
Yeah, absolutely. It was something, I mean, I know that I'd heard of them before. I wasn't. So the thing was, I wasn't really sure like the theories behind any of it.
Right.
Or my question is to you, when you would go, like, did you find there to be more activity the more people were there?
It did not matter.
It didn't matter.
When I've gone with just 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
And they've also shown up with a lot of different people. And sometimes that would clue me in of where to look, because someone would be freaking out.
Yeah.
And they're like, look over here, you know,
and
they're there. So, but I will say that I didn't really get when I saw the lights, I did not get spooked by the lights. It was not the lights, especially when it was just like me and one other person.
Yeah.
The thing that scared me was the sounds I would hear of like branches cracking in the background. I mean, it's pitch black.
Yeah,
up there, nowhere. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna get eaten by a bear or killed by a murderer. Like it's so secluded.
Yeah,
that scared me more than seeing the lights. The lights did not give off like a evil vibe or you know, like it was malicious at all. It's just the setting is so creepy. You know?
I mean, has anybody ever had a negative experience with it? It seems like it's something positive.
No, it seems something positive. Yeah, it doesn't. None of the stories are, you know, it's a malicious thing or anything like that. Some of the some of the descriptions and stories that other people have said is that the colors are typically white, yellow, or orange.
Okay.
The behavior is that sometimes it's hovering, sometimes it's darting, sometimes it'll disappear suddenly and reappear. That's the experience I had with
Okay.
it. And there are also several YouTube videos on the lights. There's a documentary that's actually decent. It's by Cryptids Across the Atlas is the name of the channel.
Okay, cool.
It's a 30-minute documentary. We can maybe put that in the show notes.
Show notes. That sounds good. Yeah, for sure.
And they also did the same thing. They went during the day.
Okay.
So they could get an idea of what they were looking at and then stayed, into the night.
Yeah. Okay.
And, but they had night vision goggles and different things that I did not have.
Yes. So, yeah. And I would be curious, like if you go by day, no one has seen, I mean, I know they're lights, but no one, when they go, no one has seen any
sparkling things. There's no reflections.
Or an object.
There's no
like clear object.
It is woods. It's yeah. So like if you Google Dover Lights, like you will, daytime, you can see that it's just, there's nothing. I mean, literally not even power lines. So it's very interesting. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, for sure.
So there's ghost stories that link spirits of Native Americans and settlers. There's tales of explorers that were lost in the wilderness that maybe they're haunting, the area.
Yeah.
There's also Spanish conquistadors that supposedly were looking for gold that they buried there and never got back to. So they're constantly looking for this gold. But the funny thing is Arkansas it's not known for gold. Like we have diamonds. We have diamonds in Arkansas. So that's kind of I don't know about that, about that one because it's not really known for gold. It's
unless they thought they're like, hey, let's just look and see if there's gold.
Right.
See what we can come up with. Yeah. Right.
But it does play a big role in Arkansas folklore.
Okay. I bet.
There's also just the Ozarks in general.
Sure.
One thing that Cryptids Across the Atlas in their documentary, they talk about how there's been Bigfoot sightings in that same valley as well. And it's also been compared. There's other similar phenomena like this, even in Arkansas, but in other places too. There's the
not just necessarily that spot,
right?
Okay, wow, cool.
So that kind of, that plays a factor too. I think it factors in. There's the Gurdon light in Arkansas, which is another light phenomenon like this.
Yeah.
And there's also the Marfa lights in Texas that have similar stories.
Okay.
Totally different landscapes. You know what I mean? It's not,
right?
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
So some of the history of it, some of the theories or the stories passed on, I guess, along the way.
Yeah.
One of the very first legends of the Dover Lights was that it's a Civil War soldier's lantern from the 1800s.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Okay, so a local legend tells of a Confederate soldier who was killed near Big Piney Creek, which is not close enough to where there could be a reflection from the creek. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there is, and it's not far. Like it.
Okay.
If back then they could trudge through and get to that area. But anyway, he was supposedly killed near Big Piney Creek Valley during the Civil War, and his spirit is said to wander the valley with a lantern, searching for his missing regiment. Many early settlers reported seeing a dim floating light in the distance. So this was early settlers that reported this. So this is way back, like 1800s time.
Wow. So I mean, this is no new story. This is no new phenomenon.
This has been passed on since the 1800s. Yeah. Okay. And they described it the same way, floating, sometimes moving erratically before vanishing. Okay. So pretty consistent.
Yeah.
There was also, like I said, the lost Spanish gold. This was like around the 1800s as well.
Okay.
Some stories claim that Spanish explorers hid gold in the Ozarks and killed their guides to keep it a secret. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the Dover lights are said to be the spirits of those men, the guides, right?
Oh,
Forever, yeah. So like searching, or of the Spanish
to go either way.
conquistadors
They're
looking
still
for their
searching for
buried
things.
gold,
Yep.
right?
Okay.
So there's been a few treasure hunters that have, explored that part of the valley. But while exploring that part of the valley, looking for the gold, this was in the 1900s, they reported strange glowing lights that chased them away.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's interesting. That
Well,
kind of gives me
yeah.
chills, like stay away from my gold. So
Right.
that's one theory. That's one
Okay.
legend, I guess you can say. And then in the 1970s, there was some teenage campers.
Okay.
There's a campground not far away. I mentioned it. It's far enough away where it can't be just like campfire light, or you know what I mean, or
Sure.
flashlights, or but they it's a well documented story. Like hi kitty.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We got Timber is really trying to get some
Timber.
attention here.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Timber.
I love
This
our
was
cat guests. I think they fit in. Timber. I love them. Anyway, so they call this a well documented story. So I guess everyone pretty much had the same story, these teenage campers. It was Big Piney Creek again,
Okay.
where in the first story where someone was supposedly murdered in that area.
Yeah.
But this is where they were camping. They said they saw a glowing orb rise from the treetops,
Okay.
float across the valley, and suddenly disappear. And some claimed they heard whispers in the wind, though no one else was around. So
No
that's
kidding.
yeah.
Could they understand
So-
what was being said? Or they
I
just
don't
heard
know.
whispering?
I didn't. It didn't say in my
Okay.
research. I didn't say, but that whispers in the wind, huh?
Ooh, yeah.
So,
No.
yeah. But like I said, it's a creepy place. So when I felt more spooked by what was behind my back
Yeah.
than
for sure.
than the lights I was seeing.
Yeah.
It does have that like something, like some kind of like eerie vibe.
Oh
to
my
it,
gosh.
you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. Yeah. If you're
Yeah.
in the dark at any point, I don't
Yeah.
care where you are. I've
Right.
been to places that it is pitch black. You can't see your hand in front of you.
Oh yeah, that's the way this place is.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And that's enough. That's scary enough in itself. Yeah, I would feel more comfortable with the lights
Mhm.
than
Yeah.
being in the dark woods. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So for that reason, it is a little more comforting to have a lot of people, and I always make sure I'm standing in front of someone, and there's someone on each side that I'm in the middle, so we get them first, and
You
know.
sound like me going through a haunted house. I
Yeah.
like to see people pass
Exactly.
around me at all
You
times.
gotta be in the middle. You gotta.
Yep.
Yeah. But literally, like any little branch that would break or any weird noise, I would like sprint to the car, lock the doors, and sit there for a minute until I felt like it was safe and I didn't see any murders or anything.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. All right. So then in 1994, there was a group of paranormal investigators that went out. They had the vision cameras and all the recording equipment, and they captured faint orbs of light floating in the valley, and their compasses reported spinning around erratically. So they had compasses that just would spin and spin and spin. So there's some kind of electrical thing there too, right?
Yep.
And one investigator even claimed to feel a cold presence standing next to him when the lights appeared.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are some of the local legends passed on all the way from the 1800s. So
see, that's amazing to me. Like,
yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, this is why this is really hard to say to so many people, like, nah, there's nothing there. You know? I'm sure it's nothing. When something like that has been around for so long, you can't deny that.
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
something. It's something.
yeah,
Maybe
it's something.
it's
That's the thing. I think
unexplained.
that's really the mystery, isn't it? What
Yeah.
is that something? Like,
What
what could
is
it
that
possibly
something?
be? Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, it's
Right.
definitely there. And obviously,
Yeah.
you've seen it with your own two eyes.
Right.
So you know. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. So there are some arguments that are supporting the phenomenon.
Okay.
There's paranormal theories.
Sure.
Some people say it's ghost lights or spook lights
Yep.
from possibly some of the like the conquistadors or some of the local legends. It could be
Yeah.
that. So
Like
there's
Native
that. The Native
Americans. Okay.
American.
Yeah.
There's burial grounds in the area. There's a lot of that in the Ozarks.
Okay.
So some people try to connect it to like Native American burial grounds, those spirits, checking you out,
Sure.
just
Yep.
kind of trapped there.
Interesting.
There's also been the hypothesis that it could be UFO or extraterrestrial
Yeah. I mean,
activity.
how can you not think of that
Yeah,
theory? I mean, especially after last week's episode, any lights
right.
in the sky.
Yep.
Yeah, I think my only
Like hiding in
right,
the hills, in the
right,
valleys.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's interesting to think about. I mean,
right.
yeah,
Yep. I mean, it is not far from a water source. It would be something that if it was, just like in the UFO episode from episode 1, where why did they go to the swamp? Why were they near
yeah.
a
What
water
is it with
source? Like, what
aliens
is
and
it?
swamps?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that's another theory. People think it may be just a UFO or alien activity in remote regions like
Okay.
that. Okay. Also, I mean, people say that there's a lot of energy fields, that the Ozark region has like unique geological or magnetic properties that could
Yeah,
produce the lights.
that's
So,
actually one of the things I was kind of wondering about because
yeah.
that's real. That's, I mean, that can
Mhm.
happen. That just, I mean, it's science. I mean, there's all
Yeah.
kinds of things when you have that
Right.
kind of energy and
Uh-huh.
yeah, and parts like
Yeah.
that. Oh my gosh,
I
absolutely. So
know. So,
that's certainly could be what's going on.
right. So, I mean, I guess no one's arguing that there are or aren't lights. Like
Yeah,
everyone's like,
okay.
there are lights.
Yeah, it's a thing.
We just don't know what it is. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. Some of the, like, I guess scientific or skeptical explanations for it would be car headlights,
Okay.
like refraction, reflection type things.
Sure.
And like they see distant headlights, off of Highway 7, which I'm telling you, you cannot see the road. You cannot see the road
Oh my gosh.
from there. So I feel like that one's crap. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even think that's even it should be even mentioned because you cannot see the road from
Right.
there. There's no way it's headlights. And plus it's right here. You know what I mean? You're up on a ridge.
Right.
It's off in the valley. It's not down in the trees. It's above
Right.
the trees.
Well,
The
that
light.
was my thinking
You know
when
what
you
I'm
were
saying?
when you were kind of even talking about the river a little bit, and you were
Yeah.
talking about reflections. I thought, oh my gosh, I mean, that's
Right.
I could understand if things were like a little bit closer,
Right.
but that's so high in the sky that even a
Exactly.
reflection seems,
It's
it just
above
seems
the tree
impossible.
line. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So that just doesn't seem like that could be it.
Yeah. So, but that's one way the skeptics try to explain it away. They also say it's atmospheric conditions such as fog or moisture amplifying light reflection. That's another
Okay.
thing they say it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Bioluminescent organisms.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So the presence of glowing insects like fireflies. Okay, I've seen fireflies my whole entire life.
Yeah.
It is not. That's definitely not what it is.
Yeah.
Or bioluminescent like fungi.
Okay. Yeah.
I've seen that also,
Okay.
and it's not the same. It's
Yeah.
not the same light. I don't know. The third one, of course, is swamp gas or
Yeah.
marsh gas.
Yeah.
Methane and other gases from decomposing organic matter igniting spontaneously.
Okay.
So, okay. I mean, I know that's how they explain the UFO away was through swamp gas.
Yeah, I mean, swamp
So,
gas is like easily the red herring of any problem.
Right.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna blame
exactly.
swamp gas now.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
swamp gas, everyone.
Right. And then other skeptics say we're just crazy. It's just the power of suggestion.
Oh, okay.
And people expect to see lights because they believe in the legend. And so they have this tendency to perceive things, based on that. So
Right. Well, do you feel like that's what was happening when you were there?
no. Especially maybe if it was just me and one other person. I have seen it when there's just a couple of us. But when there's a whole group of people seeing the same thing,
right.
Right. I don't know. I just don't.
Right.
Yeah.
And for years and
I mean,
years and
but I
years.
guess that could be an argument for the other side too, for the power of suggestion thing. Like maybe, it's a hive mind.
Right. Right.
But I don't know. I just, yeah. So, people try to debunk it. I'm sure there's videos of, on YouTube where people have shared their experiences supporting the lights being a paranormal phenomenon. But there's also people that try to debunk it. Their reasoning for this is there's no reliable video or photographic proof, because even the proof in the videos that you see, they're hard to catch. It's hard to capture. For one, they're so far away, you know what I mean? And it's pitch black and light. It's just hard to capture.
Be hard. That would be really hard in itself. With no lighting. And I know, like, you probably see them, but they probably just look like specks on screen.
Exactly.
I mean, they probably do look like fireflies.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And then I guess there's been scientific studies, like tests showing how car lights can mimic the reported phenomenon, but they're not mimicking it in that area because there's no roads there.
I was going to say, there's no cars around. So that's hard to buy. Yeah.
Right. And then I guess some people say there's inconsistencies in witness reports. Various descriptions of the size, color, and behavior of the lights. But I personally have seen different things happen there. You know what I mean? So like,
so you've never gotten the same thing twice, really?
No, I've never gotten the same thing twice.
That's really something.
So that adds to people that are skeptics, because they're like, there's different stories. Some people say this, some people say that. And but in my experience, I've experienced both. So I don't know if it's two different things or what. But yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So we'll see. And then I guess some people say that some of the reports align with like weather conditions that are conducive to optical illusions.
Okay.
I don't know. So all I know is there are lights. I've seen them.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are. I don't know if it's paranormal. I don't know if it's UFOs. I don't know if it's science, but it's definitely unexplained phenomenon that's worth checking out. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's clear that it's Bigfoot with holding a lantern. Just walking through the forest.
Of course, yeah.
This is what it's been the whole time.
That's what it's been the whole time. I know.
Mystery solved.
We could do like a 2-for-1. We could go investigate and get like a 2-for-1
Right. You get some lights, get Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Maybe it's aliens.
3 for 1. 3 for 1. You never know. You never know. So I guess like it could be a mix of natural or, I don't know.
It's so hard to say.
It's hard to say. Yeah. But I would encourage like our listeners to check it out for themselves.
Yes.
Check out some of the other video footage of it.
Yeah. Follow Jamie's directions on how to get there.
Yes, follow my directions. You'll find it, surely. Yeah. Or go to the Facebook group. Maybe someone can give you better directions. Yeah. But I think if you just look up Dover Lights Facebook group, you'll find it. There's like a lot of enthusiasts, that
Oh,
We're all
yeah. I
about
mean,
it. So
I have to see. So my thinking is you get people who are, like you have your people who are super interested in Bigfoot. They're super
right.
interested in aliens. I have to imagine there are
Yeah.
people who are like, we're going to get to the bottom of the Dover Lights. I mean, they've
Right.
probably committed
Yeah.
a big portion of their lives to getting down to the bottom of this thing.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. Yep.
I think that would be really interesting. I would love. I
Yeah.
mean, how cool would that be to just, try to pick up
To solve the
patterns?
mystery. Yeah.
Right,
Solve the
exactly.
mystery.
I know. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering how close someone has gotten to them. Like, I mean, it's almost impossible because it's not, like you said, it's nothing but
It's
like a
a
drop off.
drop. Like
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
where they are is almost like it would feel like eye level. Like you're looking,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
And there is nothing. I mean, it's like a mile drop to ground. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's
I'm like,
crazy.
that's the part that scares me. My left
Yeah.
would be, woo, like
Right.
I
Yeah.
take one step too
Yeah.
far or something,
But
like
it
just lean
felt
over a little too much.
close. To me, it felt close. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like they got close enough to say whatever it is. I'm calling them they, but
Yeah.
whatever it was close enough to be like, hey, I'm looking at you, you're looking at me,
Okay, yeah,
like,
absolutely. And that was what I was going to ask. Like,
yeah,
do you get a sensation of anything when you're there? Do you get like a feeling of anything?
just I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just mysterious. It's
Yeah.
awe inspiring. Like you don't
Sure.
want to stop looking at the lights. It's not like you're just like I'm gonna run away. It's like,
Right.
what are you? It's just like
Right.
a fascination,
Right. Right.
So
That's the thing.
yeah,
Yeah. Was
yeah.
anybody, the times that you've been, was anybody like scared? Or was everyone pretty calm when they
No,
were there?
everyone's pretty calm. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, let's just go see the lights,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're our friends.
Right.
Just go
Yeah.
see
That's the
our
thing.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah. If there's no history of
Mhm.
anything, negative happening,
No.
like why not?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard other stories that there was like an older couple that was murdered, near
Mm,
the area,
yeah.
and it's their spirits. Like there's a lot of different like just folk stories,
Oh my God. Yeah.
surrounding it.
Oh
There's
my
just so many, but everyone pretty much has a similar one of the two. Either it's a white orangish floating light
Okay.
or it's a darting light, you know
Interesting.
so
And
sometimes
see,
more than one. So
that's the thing too. I mean, even let's say for a second it's just something completely scientific. Like
yes,
why does it move the way it does? Why is it
yeah,
sometimes slow one side, why is it darting
right,
the next? Which is, I mean, that's interesting in itself. Like why
yeah,
that movement? Like science
right,
explain that to me.
right,
It's not like
exactly.
they're not necessarily just holding still.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So,
yeah, it's very interesting. But I would love if we have any listeners that have already experienced the Dover Lights, if they have their own stories. I would
yeah.
love it if you could like email us or
Yes.
comment, and let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
I would love to hear that too.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
that
would
would
want
be
to know your experience.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Um
hard. I'm not, I realize more and more, like, I'm not a skeptic. Everything, like, I'm just like, oh, it's paranormal.
mhm.
I hear something in the house, like something falls. I'm like, it's paranormal. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have like that. I just assume the worst. I'm like, clearly it's ghosts, it's aliens. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I could be more skeptical, but
Yeah.
I go right to the paranormal explanation for everything.
Yeah. I mean, I've
So,
had so many unexplained things happen that I mean, I don't know how to explain it any
yeah,
other way, but I still try to. I
sure.
try, I try to, I don't know, maybe it's the Libra in me. I like to see both sides. I
Yeah,
try to look to, see if it can be explained away
sure.
scientifically, but there's just some things that I have not found the answer
Right, absolutely.
to.
Yeah,
So,
good.
yeah.
I need to be a little more skeptical. I just assume.
Ears all in.
Yeah, I'm like, that's
Yeah,
it. That's end of story.
yeah,
It's clearly paranormal.
yeah. No, I don't know. I love it. I just love that there's so many mysteries out there and so
Oh my
many
gosh.
unexplained things that,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
We have just begun to tap into some of the stuff, I think.
yes.
Yeah,
I
I think
know
we
we
have
have
endless
some,
stories
right. I
that
think
we
we
can
do.
find.
There's so many.
Hmm.
So I know we've already talked about it a little bit, but we have maybe some Bigfoot coming up and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, some of the stories I know that I've looked into are, I mean, there's some older stories. I mean, last week's episode took place in the 60s.
Yeah, that's
There's
great.
some interesting things that I'm finding that are happening now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some really fascinating stories, like some things I kind of want to talk about.
Oh, yeah. I
It's
mean,
all happening now.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been so many sightings of just unexplained lights right
Oh
now in
yeah.
the skies, and not just in one location, just kind of all over. And
Yeah.
I've been kind of following that and trying to figure out what that is.
Right.
So
Exactly.
there's
I know.
now's the time to
Yeah. Yeah, get
something's
curious
going
and
on.
yeah, why
Yeah.
not? Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, good.
I'm
Good. That
excited.
was awesome, Jamie. I would like to come. I'm gonna come out, or I'm gonna make a
Yeah.
trip, and I
No,
would like
we
to
have
go.
to do this. We have to go
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, that would be
It's
cool.
worth it. It
I'm gonna
is.
let you
It's
drive
worth it.
though.
But I mean, we could
You're
also go
driving.
to the, okay. I've got directions. I've got directions.
Yeah, you got the directions.
But there's also like the Gurdon Light, which is, drivable from there. And
Okay.
there's so many other haunted places in Arkansas. So it'd be worth the trip to just kind of make the loop and check out some of these things. Yeah.
It's so funny.
So.
I'm glad you said that, because it reminded me. One of the things I did this past weekend, I met a couple friends. I met a friend of mine I know, and then she brought a friend, and we had some coffee. And I was kind of telling them about what we do. I was like, I just started this new podcast, and this is what it's about. And they were really interested in it. And I was kind of telling them some of the things we were talking about. And I said, well, the next episode we're going to do is about the Dover Lights. And the friend of my friend was like, oh my gosh, I lived in Arkansas. Like, I don't know about this stuff. I didn't know about that.
Wow.
And so, yeah. But then she was like, I'm explaining what it is. And they were like, oh my gosh, that sounds really, really cool. But then she looked at me and she was kind of like, there's some weird shit in Arkansas.
There is. Yeah. But I mean, and that's part of it. That's one of the things that, the scientists are saying. There's a lot of like geomagnetic stuff going on, and I mean, who knows? Like, who knows?
Who does know? But like everyone, we're gonna have to do like a whole like weird Arkansas tour or something.
Yeah. there's a lot of ghosty stuff. I mean, there's the Crescent Hotel,
right?
Which is famously haunted. There's the sanitarium. I get those two mixed up, but it was a TB clinic where they sent people with tuberculosis. I've done a couple investigations there with Casper, which is Central Arkansas Society for Paranormal Research.
Okay.
This is a pretty good acronym.
I was gonna say, my goodness, that name worked out perfect.
Casper.
I mean, you can't get any better than that.
No,
that's awesome.
So I did do some ghost hunting with them.
That's cool.
Yeah. So they've shown me a few really cool spots. So you'll just have to come, and we'll just have to do
we'll do it. We'll do it, and then we'll do another show on what we experienced.
That's right.
Okay.
We'll do it
on the weird Arkansas tour.
That's right. That's awesome. But anyway, it's fun. It's worth it. I really want to go back to the Dover Lights soon.
Cool.
It's been probably maybe 3 years, 4 years since I've been there. So
all right, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Okay.
But yeah, so if you have your own stories, listeners, like, let us know. I would love to hear other people's experiences with the Dover Lights or any kind of light phenomenon like that, because maybe it compares to some things going on in other places. So
absolutely. See, that would be really interesting to compare.
Right.
Yeah, because do we know, is this the only place that has something like this? So
right.
That'd be really
I know
awesome.
that some of the things that are mentioned in some of the YouTube videos were the Martha Lights in Texas, which I think I already talked about.
Okay.
The Gurdon Light, which is in Arkansas, and then there's like the Brown Mountain Lights, I think.
Interesting.
Which I'm not really sure what that is, but
okay.
It'd be fun if anyone has stories from any of those.
Yeah, that would be great.
Here.
Yeah, feel free to email us. Our email address is unexplainedarchives2025@gmail.com, and we'll have those in the show notes too.
Yeah.
You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook, you can find us as the Unexplained Archives, and on Instagram, we are the Unexplained Archives 25. Because apparently someone else has the handle Unexplained.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, like.
Aw. Okay.
Someone already got it.
25 makes it a little more, bougie or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I love it. But that was fun. Thanks for listening to my recap of
that was great.
rides.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. Yeah, and thank you everybody for tuning in this week.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be back next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week
with another episode of Unexplained Archives.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, bye.